Hello, my name is Hiro Matsuda, and I've been making these videos for a while now, maybe 4 or 5 years. Well, I actually started making instructional videos about 15, 16 years ago. And then we changed the format to this YouTube. Well, what I wanted to do today was to kind of go back. Well, you know, I get these comments and I do read them all, but I don't respond to them individually, but I try to make it up in the videos. And I was looking at some of the comments, and some of the comments, I have the answers already done in one of my earlier chapters. But since I have hundreds, I think I have over 1,000 chapters now, so you're going to have a tough time finding the answers you want. So what I thought I'd do is every 3 to 5 years, go over some of the common questions that are being asked. And so today I thought I'm going to start with, what is a bonsai? That's about as basic as it's going to get. So this chapter will be, what is a bonsai? Okay, bonsai is written like this. It's Japanese, but it's in the Chinese character. And basically it says plant in a pot. So potted plant. In bonsai, there's many aspects. First is the horticultural aspect. Well, this is a living plant. So how do we keep it alive? So that's the horticultural aspect of the bonsai. Okay, the other aspect of bonsai is the techniques. The technique covers the styles, while this one being a double trunk informal upright. So in the technique, we learn the different styles, how to manipulate, and how to get things done. Bonsai is called the art of bonsai, right? So the art aspect is after you learn the horticulture and the techniques, you get off on your own, okay? Now, these shapes that are in the technique or in the different styles that are already established, some master way back when saw it and he stylized it, and he came up with this style. Okay, well, my goal has been to get my students to go beyond the techniques and the rules and see if they could find a new and different presentation to look at nature, how things are growing. So every trip, well, in my younger days, we used to take regular trips up to Lake Tahoe and Monterey and things like that, where you could see plants growing in nature with very dramatic shapes and styles. That's where the origin of bonsai started anyway, okay? So that's what I'm trying to do, is to get my students to go back to nature, look at it, and then capture the essence of that natural experience in a small container. So what a good bonsai is the capturing of the essence of your experience and conveying it in miniature. So it has to get beyond the rules and regulations and all that stuff. That's the art of bonsai. And it's really hard to get people past that because we haven't got past the technique yet. But anyway, that's been my goal, is to get as many people to look at nature and then try to capture that in a small container. You know, a lot of my students, well, we're all getting older now, but some have been with me for like 30 years, right? And then after like 1 or 2 years, I came to this point where it says, you know, you should go look at nature. Well, a lot of them been out fishing and hiking, and they actually never saw nature. I mean, they were there fishing or hiking and things like that, But now they go through and then take the time and say, oh, look at that tree, look at that. And so I try to get my newer students to get into the habit of looking and actually seeing. It's fabulous out there. I try to look for things that other people don't go looking. I mean, okay, going looking at other people's bonsai collection is great in the beginning. I used to do that when I was much younger, but now I go to some out of the way places and to see if I could find some inspiration for something new. I know some of you wonder why I go to Vegas. Well, there's crazy things out there that may not be directly related to bonsai, but it may trigger something in my mind to say, okay, let's give it a shot. Besides, I just like the hustle and bustle and all the phoniness, and then, well, the shows, the food, and things like that. But I'm always in the back of my mind looking for things that may trigger creativity. Everything came from China. Roughly 1500 years ago, it came from China to Japan. And then roughly about 600 years ago, that borrowed art form became uniquely Japanese. So the Japanese tend to be very precise and they get everything just perfect. Well, as a side note, I thought that that was the only route. But I was talking to Dale, who is from the Philippines, and evidently it went to the Philippines about the same time it went to Japan. It went with the missionaries and the business people, and so yes, it's been going worldwide for a very long time. Now, if you like the very preciseness and exactness, what they do in Japan, then you're going to have to go beyond the horticulture, technique, and art. You have to understand the Japanese art and culture, because a lot of the thinking and the designing and all that is based on a lot of their everyday life and the philosophy. So that could be a long lifetime pursuit if you want to follow that route. But to me, a bonsai is an art form. It's an individual art form. So it may not look great to somebody else, but if you're happy with it, that should be fine. Now, if you're going to participate in a show for competition, you better stay within the guidelines. Oh, the dreaded rule, right? But it should be very personal. And if you're satisfied with it, it's fine. Oh, the other thing is, bonsai is never done. And you know, I taught a lot of students, and I had a group of people one time that came, and then on the lecture part, before we got to the hands-on part, the lady walks out, she goes, "Oh, this is not for me." And that's realistic, you know. So to me, the enjoyment of the bonsai is the process. You could take a little seedling and get it to nurture and get bigger. That's the horticulture aspect. That's not bonsai yet, it's the horticulture aspect. And then you get this thing to manipulate. The pictures that I've taken over the years, some of the things that has inspired me to create something. But like I was saying, this is your project and your vision. So technically, if you keep it alive, you're okay. Dead bonsai really is hard to define as a bonsai. Okay, parts of it dying, that's okay because that's considered the gem. But if the whole thing dies, it's not very good. So now you got to go back to your horticulture aspect, how to keep this guy alive, right? But other than that, I think that you should just kind of enjoy the process. If you want to learn more technical, you could take the class. But a lot of you are all over the world, and then you're going to have to adjust your plants too. And there's some fabulous stuff on the internet, and others are just not that great. But anyway, I thought I'd share my thoughts with you about what a bonsai is. So, once again, it's horticulture. Somehow you got to keep this alive. Okay, technique that follows how to shape it into the established styles that's already out there. And then the art form, which sets you free to express yourself in ways that may or may not appeal to others. And then if you really, really like how they do it in Japan, then you better really learn the art and culture of Japan. Now, evidently from what Dale tells me, it's a pretty big thing in the Philippines. So they have their own culture. Well, because of the climate, right? Each place have a different type of plants. What will grow really well in San Diego, even here in California, like bougainvillea, will barely stay alive. Most of the time it's dead in the winter, right? And stuff that will do so well here in Zone 9, where it needs the cold. And if you don't have the cold, you don't have the coloring, and you don't have the vigor. So a lot of this is very regional. And I have no idea what grows well in Australia, New Zealand, South America, Europe, all over the place. But in terms of the goal of styling something based on what you felt when you saw the tree in nature is, I think, the art of bonsai. So anyway, this is Hiro saying goodbye. I'll see you again real soon. And I think I will keep up with some of these very basics so that my new comers, I noticed that I'm getting a steady following every month, which I'm very grateful for. But I think having to look at 1,000 chapters to have some of the basic answers answered is quite difficult. So I'm going to try this new method. Hopefully it doesn't a chapter on what is a bonsai. Well, I guess I should call it what is a good bonsai, or what is the art of bonsai. I guess, well, it could be any one of those titles, I guess. But anyway, I'm going to try to proceed next year, 2024. I'm going to keep adding newer things so I don't get bored, and most of you don't get bored, but I will throw in some of these basics along the way so that the new people trying to get caught up will have a chance to see what you need to know without having to go back and look at hundreds and hundreds of chapters that I made. And as much as I dread it, well, I don't really dread it, but I'm going to show you how to wire correctly. And then, so, you know, I've never had the problem of wiring. It was the problem of remembering to take it off. That's why I ended up not doing it anymore. But I know how. I was taught how. And early in my career, I did wire. But then I ended up with so much damage on a lot of the wood that I said, there got to be a different way. Anyway, so that's what we have to look forward to in the coming year and in the future. So hopefully, if you have any specific want and wishes. And like I said, I will not answer directly to you on those comments, but I will try to find a way to answer so that you'll get the answer that you need. Okay? So this is Hiro saying goodbye. I'll see you again real soon in another chapter. Thank you so much for watching, and please tell your friends and subscribe.